Welcome to The Explainer. So glad you're here, because today we're diving into something that is, no joke, completely life-changing. Our main mission today? We are going to absolutely shatter this exhausting myth that massive success requires you to just grind away for endless, unyielding hours. Like, if you've ever felt that pit in your stomach, thinking you literally just don't have the time to start a business, or learn a skill, or finally get in shape, well, you're in the exact right place. Let's just jump straight into it. I don't have time is probably the most successful lie we ever tell ourselves. Take this guy, Rahul, from our source material. He's a project manager who swore up and down, left and right, that he had zero time for fitness. An hour at the gym? Yeah, right, impossible. But when he finally did a real, honest audit of his screen time, the truth came out. He found out he was wasting an average of an hour and a half every single day just doing that aimless social media scrolling. Time is actually always there. It's just about priorities. Rahul cut out 1 hour of that doom scrolling, swapped it for an online workout, and completely transformed his life.
So, to help you reclaim your time, here is our exact roadmap for today. First, we'll tackle the no time illusion. Then, the power of one focused hour. Third, the 60-minute success formula. Fourth, managing energy and distractions. And finally, why consistency completely beats out fleeting motivation.
All right, jumping right into section 1. The no time illusion. Think about the stark contrast between these two approaches to working. On one side, we've got the 80-hour burnout. Our source material highlights this startup founder, Vibor, who fell right into this trap. He was grinding out 80-hour weeks thinking that's how you chase success. And what did he get? Total burnout, awful decision-making, and just a super stressed-out team. It's the classic law of diminishing returns. But then, flip over to the other side, strategic rest and focus. Vibor literally shifted to strict 6-hour workdays. But, and here's the kicker, he included just one absolute power hour dedicated solely to his hardest task. The result? His productivity completely skyrocketed, his creative spark came back, and his business results improved massively. Strategic rest isn't the enemy of productivity, folks. It's literally the fuel for it.
And the real secret sauce here comes down to this number, 365. This is the magical compound effect in action. See, dedicating just one single, unfragmented hour a day multiplies into 365 hours over a year. That is a massive chunk of time. To put that in perspective, that's more than enough time to master a complex new skill or even get a startup off the ground. Take Nitu, a software developer from the source. She dreamed of launching a tech startup, but she didn't quit her day job. Nope, she just carved out 1 hour a day. 1 week she focused on market research. The next week she's doing prototyping. Fast forward 18 months, she actually had a working prototype and secured real funding. All of that from just 1 daily hour compounding over time. Absolutely incredible.
Moving right along to section 2, the power of one focused hour. Okay, to really grasp this, we have to talk about deep work mode. This is that highly productive mental zone you hit when the multitasking stops, the context switching stops, and you finally unlock the ability to do complex problem solving. Think about the heavy tax we pay for context switching. Like every single time you check a notification, your brain literally bleeds energy trying to refocus. Maya, an aspiring author, knew this struggle well. She dreamed of writing a book, but kept waiting for a magical full day to do it, so she tried a new strategy. Every morning from 6 to 7 a.m., the phone goes on airplane mode and she just writes, zero distractions. By tapping into this deep work mode for just that 1 hour daily, she finished her first draft in 3 months, a draft that had literally been collecting dust for years. Now, obviously, to make that hour actually count, you have to know exactly what to focus on. First off, do a massive brain dump. Just get every single task out of your head. Then you need to ask yourself the golden question. What is the one thing that makes everything else easier or maybe even irrelevant? Once you pinpoint that, put a ring around it. That's your single priority. It's all about applying the 80-20 rule, knowing that 80% of your results are going to come from just 20% of your efforts. Sonal, a busy teacher balancing her career and family, used this perfectly. She was exhausting herself trying to do a dozen things poorly, but when she stopped and asked herself that golden question, she realized designing a new online course was her 20%. She focused her 1 hour strictly on that, which meant basically saying not right now to everything else. And boom, she finally saw real, tangible progress. Let's head into section 3, the 60-minute success formula. All right, you are going to love this. It's the 5-55 formula, and it is just so elegantly simple. Step 1, take 5 minutes to plan exactly what you're going to achieve in this session. Step 2, 50 minutes of pure, uninterrupted, nonstop execution. Step 3, take the last 5 minutes to review what you learned and jot down the very next step for tomorrow. This kind of structure, it's basically freedom. The source material tells the story of two friends, Jatin and Alka, who both set out to learn a programming language. Alka tried the whole finding time here and there approach with no real routine. Jatin? He's strictly used this 555 formula. In just 8 weeks, Jatin completely finished the course, while Alka was, you guessed it, still stuck on the early chapters. Having a strict structure pretty much guarantees progress.
Now for Section 4, Managing Energy and Distractions. Get ready for a massive paradigm shift. You actually need to match your hardest, most critical work directly to your peak energy hours, not just whenever you happen to have a gap in your schedule. Because let's be real, not all hours are created equal. You've got physical, mental, emotional energy. Priyanka, a freelancer we read about, learned this the hard way. She used to save her toughest freelance projects for the late afternoon when she was already completely drained. Naturally, the work just piled up. But then, she realized her actual peak energy window was in the morning, between 10 a.m. and noon. So she simply moved her hardest project to that morning block. The result? Mind-blowing. She literally cut her working time in half, and the work was way better quality. You really have to treat your energy like a savvy investor treats their money. Now, what if you're thinking, but I always get lazy during my peak time? Look, if you want to build a new habit, you have to make the starting line so ridiculously small that your brain literally cannot invent an excuse. Consider this progression. On day 1, a person who always used to quit the gym made a rule to just walk to be outside of the gym building and then go home. Seriously, that was the entire habit. But by week 2, that naturally evolved into a 10-minute workout. By month 2, a solid 30-minute workout. Fast forward 1 year, and they're a daily gym member. You can also try habit stacking, like attaching a tiny new habit to something you already do, like reading just 1 page of a book right after pouring your morning coffee. The absolute magic is in starting incredibly small. And to keep that energy properly focused, you've got to track your progress the smart way. And no, you don't need any complicated apps for this. Aditya, a freelance designer, used to stress out at the end of every month, wondering what he actually got done. To fix this, he started taking a mere 2 minutes a day to log his focus sessions in a super simple table. Literally just what he worked on and what he achieved. That's it. Actually managing this simple little process is infinitely better than constantly obsessing over the final outcome. It works like a mirror, cutting right through the illusion of being busy and actually proving that you're achieving that daily compound growth. Finally, we arrive at Section 5, Consistency Beats Fleeting Motivation. Think of motivation like a really tasty slice of chocolate cake. It's a fleeting, highly unreliable feeling. You definitely can't survive on it. Consistency, on the other hand, is a structured, reliable system. It's like the nutritious food that actually sustains you. Look at Rohit, a blogger from our source. He used to only write when the mood hit him. So he'd crank out 5 posts in a week, and then crickets for months. He totally failed. But he turned it all around and succeeded massively when he finally built the discipline to schedule his writing blocks on Sundays, completely regardless of whether he felt like it or not. He stopped waiting around for the cake and started eating his nutrients, so to speak. It's fascinating to compare the massive, towering stress of an unstarted task against the tiny little bit of stress you feel when just starting a 5-minute task. Neeraj, a business owner, conquered his total dread of tax season using the Pomodoro technique, doing these 25-minute blocks of pure focus. He realized something huge. Procrastination isn't actually laziness. Actually, scratch that. It's more like the emotional avoidance of a really tiny temporary discomfort. When you change the goal from, I need to finish my taxes, to, I just need to start for 5 minutes, your stress levels plummet and momentum just completely takes over. But listen, as you start out on this 1-hour journey, you have to watch out for 3 very common traps. First up, doing fake work. Kartik, an entrepreneur, absolutely ruined his power hour by spending 15 minutes checking emails and another 20 minutes doing research, instead of actually attacking his main priority head-on. Don't displace your priority with busy work. Second is the perfection trap, obsessing over getting perfectly prepared instead of just taking messy action. And the third trap is all or nothing thinking. If you slip up and miss one day, do not quit. Success is literally just linking the broken chain back together the very next day. Remember, mistakes are just feedback. They are not a certificate of failure. So, the huge takeaway we've gathered from these sources today is that a dedicated, uninterrupted hour of focus is practically a superpower.
It compounds over time, it turns huge, intimidating dreams into manageable daily steps, and it proves that you actually do have the time to change your life. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final provocative question to think about. What will you do with your 1 hour tomorrow? Seriously, I challenge you to set your alarm tonight, lay out your materials, block out all those pesky distractions, and take that one small step towards your compound growth tomorrow. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.